All right, today I'm very excited to talk to you about a new video editor that I've just discovered that's been relatively new on the block of free video editing software. It's called Olive. Now it's available for Windows 7 Plus, Mac OS 10 Plus, and of course Linux, various distros, and with what I'm using right now, which is Linux Mint. It's right in the software repository, so you don't need a command line install this at all. It's you just go to your software manager and install Olive. So it's a nice, very good, nice video editor that can compete with Kdenlive. And I've been on my YouTube channel. I've used Kdenlive. A large percent of what I've done on Kdenlive. So just discovering this alternative, Olive, it's good to have like alternatives to video editing out there. I'm going to just briefly go into, someone's going to say in the comments, use Davinci Resolve. I've had issues with that in a video editor myself, being a Linux Mint operating system user. So I took one of my laptop computers and I installed CentOS because I wouldn't install in Linux Mint, and went through the whole thing, wiped the hard drive, installed Davinci Resolve, it did everything, installed, clicked on it, and it crashed. And so that was my experience with Davinci Resolve. Tried it, I couldn't get it even to install in Linux Mint, and I installed it on the CentOS, but then it was fine. I need that much of a high end. I found people have been really putting down Kdenlive recently, but I've been using it and it's been doing everything. There's a few quirks of it, like there's quirks for everything. Now in Olive, I've discovered I can do time lapse and fast motion with the audio, which is something I like just for little comedic edges to the video clips. So like, for example, I can skip ahead and kind of have like a fast motion effect with the audio. It does do the speed increase in Kdenlive, but it doesn't hold the audio. And
so I was able to slow down the audio and kind of make it a comical, just with my own home.
For fun, but I like to have that option because, for example, I'm going to work on my intro
to the Happy Satellite Nerd, and I have my dish moving on the actuator. Now in real time it's quite slow, so I like to speed that up and just mix that in with some music. So I'm going to do that and add a little bit of a time lapse to that, so it makes the satellite dish look like it's moving a lot faster when it's moving across the arc, moving to another satellite. So I'll take you into Olive and we'll take a look at that, and I'll touch up my intro to the series that I've done for the Happy Satellite Nerd.
I'm going to grab a couple clips. I'm just going to hit Control and select here with my mouse pad here. I want to take these two clips here and bring them into the timeline. Makes it so it could be previewed. And I got this pre-edited video as well that I wanted to work with. So you can see the video is popping up there. So I got about 3 clips, just 3 quick clips to go through in this video. Now one of the first things you want to do is you want to save your project. Always a good thing to do in video editing. Now I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call it Olive. So Happy Satellite Nerd Intro 2019. This is basically going to be the source material, which I want to be the main file. So you'll see the video that you drag it down in your timeline. Now you can also edit it in here, in this window here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So if you're taking your source material, and OBS might be slowing down my computer a little bit right now. So you can make an in point and an out point here. Now, one thing I found where there was a little thing to click on in Kdenlive. On this program, I've noticed it's I for in and your O button, your O key for out, to mark in and out your points. So, for example, here would be the in point, and say if you wanted to cut your clip here, that would be your out point. And so you have this selected portion of your video, and you can drop and drag it onto your timeline. So that's the clip there. So I just want to drag that down to my timeline. Now this part, I don't want it really to interfere. It's an insert, so I don't really want it to interfere with the audio, with the background. So there's where I come in. And I want to have the new portion where I come in is here. So I want to make this time lapse so it looks like it's running a lot faster. So like basically it'll be fast motion. So what I want to do here is, they're still moving there, but that's probably good enough though. So I'll make that my out point. With the satellite dish going in fast motion, I just go here and I go to speed and duration, and I just went here and changed the new value to 500%. 500%, and then it brings the frame rate up much faster. Now on this computer, because it's kind of not, it's the computer where OBS works, but then it also in the preview mode, it doesn't show the dish going in fast motion. Here for the happy satellite nerd. So you just go here, add a title, and you kind of just drop and drag where you want your title. Whoops, but there. And you just go into your title settings. Oops. Video effects. There. There's something move that part there. So you got to move your little red line for the video. Now, first off, you're going to get sample, and it's going to be very hard to see where the sample is there. So I want mine to say, well, first off, I go into this little thing here where I can edit my text. Now, first off, I want it to be extra bold, and you could select what font you want. So I like comic, this comic style. I'm going to type in the text I want first. That'll probably make it easiest. So you highlight that. I want to is lowercase. All right, so I'm going to go with comic angular, or do I want comic? I'll say that one. Sure. So I got that there. So there's my text. Okay, so I just go back and editing my text. So first off, well, you got to highlight it. Every time you want to work with it, you want to highlight your text. Make it extra bold. I'm going to make it about 150. Make the value of that. So it's going to make it larger. Now it's going to be larger here. There we go. If you stretch this, it'll be fine. But what you want it to see is how it's going to look here. Now, white is not going to show up very well, and you also want a border around it. So I'm going to go with blue. I'll select that blue there, and I want to lighten it up a bit. So I'm just going to put it about there. And I searched a while to find out where I don't like that blue at all. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll correct everything how I want it to look in just a second here. So if I hit OK, so there it is. Now I don't necessarily like where it's centered, so position, you can kind of, it doesn't give me the option in this title program to move it where I want it to, unless I kind of want it kind of up higher in the sky there. Now this titling program, I'm used to the one I used before. It would allow me to kind of put it in to a corner. I'm just going to change this value to 10 so it has a bit of a shadow to it. And also change this to 10. There, you can kind of see the shadow. Distance 10. so it kind of sticks out a little bit better. Actually, I don't want the softness. I want it to be nice and sharp, so I'm going to bring that back to 0. And so we have that. Position 20. Now I want it position, well, let's say minus 50. Let's see what it does there. So it's moved a little bit more to the right. I want it in kind of the right. Let's try this again, maybe 90. No, not. Oh, yeah, with minus 90. It's kind of one of these weird things where you got to work with numbers. More than that. Okay. Minus 150. Sure, whatever. All right, so I want this moved to minus 200. Let's see where that puts it. That's kind of where I was hoping to get it, something like that. The only thing is, it annoys me that I can't drop and drag it. I just gotta kind of work. So if I want to move my thing up a bit, I just want to go there, and it doesn't move it while I'm doing this, which. So when you have your project all complete, now this is not a big project, just a small, few little cuts that I want to do with a video. You go to export. Now some editors just have like a render option, or but this one it's export. So the wording is always different depending on the editor. Now, I've tried it with there's a few different there's H.265, which is like the 4K codec. There's this H.264 MPEG-4 Part 4. I used that, but the thing was it wouldn't allow me to. Yeah, the quality here just says 36 high quality. So this is a similar problem that I've run into with Kdenlive, where it just doesn't allow me to render it the way I want to. So, and I found with my, I'm on a different laptop right now, but I found it was causing it to crash. Now I'm going to try, I have had success with the MPEG Part 2, and then you can actually control your bit rate, because that's what I like. Now this bit rate is actually really high. It's 12 megabytes per second. It's going to be a really big clip. I've found I was able to get per second, so even 1 megabyte per second I was okay with this. I'll say for the sake of this video I'll do 4, just to give it a rendering. Yeah, I'll go 4, and just with the all that running. So simple as that. The entire sequence in and out. Yep, all that. So let's go and export the video. Now it's going to ask you to name it as something. So it's an olive. We'll call it. So 2019. And it will make it an MPEG-4. There. And this is not a very long clip. It's only like a 30-second clip. So we'll just go through, render the video, export it. And I found this was a lot quicker. I'm just going to go over to my system resources here. And this is a quad-core laptop. And sometimes with an 8-core laptop too, when you're rendering video, it will show what it's doing. So I can see all the CPU cores are all at 100%, which was a problem with my other laptop because it just sort of caused it to crash. And plus also I have OBS running at the same time, so that could be another reason for it. So I played around with some of the rendering options here. So if I go to export, now my other computer, if I rendered using this, it crashed. But actually, this computer I'm working on right now, it ran at full, basically it was like running at 100% for about 5 minutes to render the whole video. So I did all that and did that fine. I didn't bother doing HEVEC encoding. I just did MPEG-4. Now with the quality, this CRF, it always default goes to, I don't know what that is, this 36.00. Now the higher I go, it's the lower quality. So I was able to get this to go to about 51. And the quality, when I rendered it to about 51, was this one. It has, and as you can see at the bottom of the screen, it rendered it to be about a 1.8 megabyte file. It actually looked like the quality, I'll just put it up here, looks like an ASF file off of Real Player from like 1997. It's a very low bit rate, so it's very pixelated and doesn't look very good at all. But then I did with just it on 1. Like basically I brought this all the way to just 1 like that, quality CRF 1, and the file ended up being, don't have a preview here, rendered the whole video out to about 318 megabytes for a very short clip. Like this is a 30-second clip. This is just an intro. And then I brought it up a little bit. So that was like on the default setting, which would be the 30, whatever it brings it up to in default. The 36 default setting, it was like 4 megabytes. So to play around with this to get the quality that I want it to be at. Now for a master, this being a mastered footage, I'd want it to be a good bit rate for the short clip, just because I would want it looking good, even if I'm bringing it down to 1080 or using 720p for the video. And the first one I did, it didn't render it up very nicely, but it ended up rendering out. Oh yeah, that one I used the other option, which was the just the MPEG-4 Part 2, which on my other computer I couldn't render in this format, but I could render in this format, and then I was able to change the bit rate, because I that's one thing I like about it. It's just I just switch to whatever bit rate I want. This is a very high bit rate here. Like this would be this would eat up a 500 gigabyte hard drive pretty fast if you did a whole lot of videos at this 12 Mbps bit rate. This feature about all of it is you can do a voiceover without, like, right in the editing program. Now with Kdenlive I've done this as well, but I would use Audacity, record over it, convert the file to an MP3, and then import it to the timeline. Where this program has a nice feature where you can hit record here, and then this will, you can put the timeline wherever you want to start, and you press on the play button and it will record, and you can put it in a voiceover, which is a very nice feature for when you're trying to do a tutorial video document, you know, something that's going to need that, and it'll just record it to a recording here. Now when I recorded, the audio levels were low, so I just brought up the dB by a bit here, and then just bring up the volume up and down to what I did in my test here when I did do a recording. Add your audio clips over, and then so that's another great feature of this as I'm editing this editor video. What I say about this program, comparing it to Kdenlive, it has its minuses, it has its pluses, and it has its minuses. It definitely has its own quirks to this program, but it's definitely one, if you're just starting out with some video editing, wanted to do some simple video editing, just some titles, cut your videos and render it out. this is definitely a great choice to play around with and learn it. And I'm just learning it myself, so I'm hoping that I can learn how to become better and more skilled at Olive. I've just started using it just within the last week or so. So please, so don't take me as the next. So don't please think that I'm saying that I'm an expert. I'm not. I'm just starting to play around with this newer editor, and I'm learning it just like a lot of other people are. But definitely it is encouraging to see more free video editors out there that run on Linux. So thanks for watching this video, and please give it a thumbs up.